Want to save thousands without feeling deprived this year? Let me show you how. If there's one thing that I've learned about money in the past few years, it's that saving money isn't about pointless restriction, it's about creating freedom. Whether that's the ability to finally go on that trip that you've been dreaming about, setting aside a rainy day fund so that unexpected expenses don't feel quite so stressful, buying a house that you can call home, or building wealth so that you can retire with peace of mind. And here's the best part, every single dollar you save gets you closer to those goals. So today I want to share with you 13 simple and practical things that you can do that really add up and can help you to save thousands of dollars a year. Credit cards can be a great tool to rack up miles and points that you can use towards travel or other large purchases, which is great. I'm all for the rewards. You just want to make sure that you're using your credit cards strategically. And that's where the treating the card like a debit card comes in. You want to make sure that you're paying your credit cards off in full every single month. That way you get all the rewards without the interest, which often negates the value of any potential rewards. So only buy things on your credit card using cash that you already have in your bank account, but then leverage those rewards. We've had this card, the Capital One Venture X card, for a few years, and I highly recommend this card, especially if you love travel. It basically pays for itself every year, has some great perks. We're typically able to accumulate $1,000 worth of points or more every single year, which we usually use towards travel. We recently just booked our flights to Switzerland using the points that we got from this card. So especially if you love to travel, it can be a great way to make your travel more affordable. Often when you're going out to eat, whether it's to a restaurant, a coffee shop, a cafe, a brewery, typically they'll have the thing you're actually going for and then a lot of extras. Whether that's drinks and apps at a restaurant, pastries at a coffee shop, maybe it's dessert or some other kind of side item. One easy way to save money when eating out is simply to skip those extras. Forgo the pastry when grabbing coffee, skip the app and drink when ordering dinner, or at least switch from ordering an alcoholic beverage to something non-alcoholic, which will be a quarter or less of the price. Or if you're craving something sweet, maybe instead of getting dessert after you finish your dinner, try eating dinner at home and then only go out for dessert. There's a lot of fluff that can very easily be added to our bills when eating out. And so if maybe you've been spending a bit more on eating out than you'd like to lately, stripping your order back to the basics can really help you to save. I'd say on average, I'm able to save somewhere between 30 to 40% off my bill simply by being strategic about what I'm ordering or not when eating out. How long has it been since you compared rates for your insurance? Or for that matter, your phone, energy, internet, or other bills? If it's been a minute, I'd recommend spending an hour shopping around and comparing rates to see if you might be able to pay less for any of your recurring expenses. We did this earlier this year after noticing that our internet rate had been steadily increasing. We were able to save over $50 a month just by switching internet providers. If you do the math, over the course of a year, that's over $500 in savings just by spending 30 minutes of my time seeing if we might be able to get a better deal somewhere else. I know the world of insurance bills, it's not the most fun, but if we're talking about the return on investment of your time, it could be one of the most impactful ways that you spend an hour of your week. One easy way to save money on groceries is to challenge yourself to one night, or even maybe you want to do this for a week, come up with meals using only foods that you already have in your house. Often when we're staring at our pantry, our fridge, our freezer and thinking that we have nothing to eat, the truth is either you're maybe being a bit lazy, I know I can be guilty of that sometimes, or you're not just thinking creatively about how you can use what you already have. So shop your kitchen and see what you might be able to make with what you already have. Not only can this help you to save money by perhaps preventing a last-minute grocery store run, but it can also help to prevent food waste by making sure that you're fully using up what you have. So especially if you can be guilty of, say, freezing meat that's about to go bad but then never using it, or buying copious quantities of canned soup or pasta and then letting it sit on your shelves. This can be a great way to help ensure that your money doesn't go to waste. Flights are typically the most expensive part of any trip, but they're also the thing that tends to vary the most in price. So something we've done over the years is just to keep a running list of 5 or 6, maybe even 9 or 10 destinations that we'd like to visit, and then base our choice of what destination we're going to visit based on what flight deals we can find. We'll keep an eye out for prices to drop to one of those locations. So like a couple of years ago, we scored tickets to New Zealand, which for us is often $1,600 or more round trip for only $800. I've booked $500 tickets to Greece multiple times. Most recently, we paid $600 each for our flights to Switzerland. I could go on, but using the strategy, I'm often able to book flights for about half of what they normally go for. A couple of resources that I find really helpful for finding good deals on flights are, well, number one, Google Flights, but then also the Going email subscription and Daily Drop Pro. I've used all of those in the past, and they can be a great way to alert you to flight deals in the destinations that you're looking to travel to. Then just one other thing to keep in mind too, you can often find flight deals in the summer or during peak season, but typically you're going to find the best deals in the shoulder season or the off season. So if you're flexible about when you travel, that can also help you to save. Now, something else that has saved us quite literally thousands of dollars over the years is choosing to do small upgrades and fixes to our house ourselves. If you're willing to put in a bit of sweat equity, you can easily make home projects far more affordable. A great example of this, we recently redid our garage, and in the process of planning the makeover, we were trying to decide whether or not we wanted to get it professionally painted or to do it ourselves. Well, we got our quote back and it was going to be over $1,000 just to get it painted. So instead we decided to do it ourselves. We were able to paint the entire garage within a day, and just like that, we're able to save over $1,000. So if maybe there are updates that you'd like to make to your home, or just things around your house that you need fixed, a great way to save money can be just to do it yourself. And not only will you save money, but it might also be a great opportunity for you to learn a new skill as well. Especially now having a child, this is something that I've really been leaning into. We've been discovering all kinds of free activities that we can do in our area. Things like story time at the library, visiting a local splash pad or park, taking advantage of museums or nature preserves, or even just going over for a play date with friends can all be really fun, free ways that you can get out of the house and put them in an environment where they can learn, grow, and have fun. I will say this one isn't limited to those of you with children either. I think all of us can stand to save using this one. So maybe for you, it looks like inviting friends over to eat rather than going out to a local brewery, bar, or for dinner. Maybe it's going to a trivia night instead of a movie, going on a hike, wandering a farmer's market. I feel like sometimes we can have a tendency to just get in the habit of doing the same activities over and over again. But often there's a lot of fun to be had and money to be saved in just branching out, trying new things, and taking advantage of some of those fun and free activities in your area. Take advantage of sales to stock up on things that you use on a daily basis. I find that with things like makeup and skincare items, this can be a particularly helpful strategy. When I notice a good sale on things like my moisturizer, my favorite sunscreen, or makeup products, especially the things where I know I have a favorite, I buy the same thing every single time. I'll often buy 1 or 2 of them, even if I'm not running out of the product currently, just to have on hand for when I do. If I time it right, I often find that I can save $10 or more per item, which over the course of the year and multiple products really does add up. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you're doing this within reason. I'd recommend probably no more than 1 or 2 items in your backstock, just because sometimes products that we love stop working for us over time, or we'll want to try something new, or even if you hold on to them too long, products expire. So you want to make sure that you're not wasting money on products that you're never going to use. But for those daily essentials, it can be really helpful. So wait for those good deals around maybe it's Black Friday or another holiday, and take advantage of those sales not to save on frivolous purchases, but on your everyday essentials. I hardly ever buy kids items new. They wear their clothes, read their books, and play with their toys for such a short period of time that to me, it just makes financial and practical sense to buy those items used. Especially since these days there is such an abundance of really high quality, well-maintained clothing, shoes, and other children's items. So when it comes to kids items, rather than shopping new, I try to default to the acronym TSB. Can I thrift, swap, or borrow borrow the items that I need. This is where you really want to leverage the resources available in your area. Figure out if there are great thrift stores near you. Maybe there's a buy nothing group in your area, or you can start one with some fellow mom friends. We recently just gave back. We borrowed, I think it was like 6 or 7 sleepers in the 12 to 18 month size range, which I probably would have spent over $100 on had I bought new, but instead we were just able to borrow them from a friend, use them for a few months, and then when Oliver outgrew them, we just gave them back so that my mom friend can use them for her future babies. This really can be a powerful strategy for saving money. I am usually able to thrift around 80% of my son's wardrobes, and then I'll fill in the gaps with a couple of new items. But I'd estimate that I'm able to save probably around a couple $100 every time my son moves up a size just by shopping secondhand. The same thing is true of toys and books. Hand-me-downs from mama friends who've finished having kids can be a great way to get some cheap or free toys and books. We also love the local library. They have an entire section just dedicated to baby board books, and so every few weeks Oliver and I will go to the library, we'll pick out a few new books, and that way we're able to keep our book rotation fresh. It's completely free, and the best part is when they lose interest in a book, you can just bring it back. Such a great option that I feel like people just don't take advantage of enough. So there are tons of great options to save money on all the kids stuff that, let's be real, you're going to need. But in general, buying used or borrowing is going to save you 50 to 100% versus buying new. Especially for categories where you tend to impulse buy or overspend, setting a budget can be a great tool to save money. Just decide before the month begins how much you want to spend on clothing, on coffee shops, on eating out, whatever your vices are, and stick to it, making sure that you're spending that amount or less on that category throughout the month. I love budgets because at first glance it might sound restricting, but I actually find them really freeing because it makes it so that you don't have to feel guilty about the purchases that you make because you allocated money for them already. But it also helps you to have to find limits so that you don't overspend. One of the biggest hindrances to our ability to save is the unconscious spending that we do, the purchases we make without even thinking about it. And so by budgeting, it really helps us bring those subconscious purchases to the conscious and helps us make better, more intentional decisions about how we're using our money. A manicure might cost you $40 or more at a salon. Getting your hair cut and colored can easily be in the hundreds, and the same thing goes for facials. So doing some of these recurring beauty treatments at home can be an easy way to quite literally save hundreds of dollars. I've painted my own nails for years and love pocketing the savings, but if that's not for you, I have friends too who do press-on nails, and they're able to get salon quality looking nails for a fraction of the price. Dyeing your own hair or even learning how to cut it can be a great way to save money too. But if you don't feel super confident cutting your own hair, at least learning how to cut your kids' hair or partner's hair can be another great way to save. Because especially with men's and kids' haircuts, even though they do tend to be a little bit less expensive to get cut, they often need them more frequently. If currently you're farming out a lot of your beauty treatments, I'd encourage you just to take a close look at how much you're spending on beauty treatments every single month, every single year. See if you might be able to switch to doing some of those things at home as a way to save money. When traveling, skip the shopping and overpriced souvenirs and instead opt for budget-friendly experiences. Not only is this often going to give you a far more authentic experience of the destination that you're visiting, but it can also help you to save money. One of our favorite things to do when traveling is to go hiking. It's usually completely free and always results in some incredible views. We also love wandering a farmer's market, just wandering the streets of a city, going to museums or zoos, taking tours. A lot of the cheap or free activities that might be available in your local area are also just as available when traveling. But especially when traveling, it can be a great way to cut down on the overall budget that you need to set aside for your trip. And it also often results in a far more authentic and local experience. Automate your finances by having your money deposited into a savings account right when you get paid. This is often called paying yourself first, and it's an almost effortless way to save. The rationale behind it is that we naturally tend to either consciously or subconsciously adjust our lifestyles to fit our income. And even though we might have good intentions around saving money, we tend to spend close to what we have coming in. And so what automating your savings and paying yourself first accomplishes is it basically rockets saving money from the bottom of your priority list, the thing that you do at the end of the month with what's left over, all the way up to the top. So just decide first what you want to live on every month and then save what's left over. This is a great way to prevent lifestyle creep, and it ensures too that every paycheck, every month, you're moving towards your goals and the life you want to create. And that way too, the money that you want to save doesn't get caught up in the shuffle of everyday spending. Well, friends, I hope that this has given you some simple and practical ideas on ways that you can save money. I just want to leave you with a quick encouragement too. I know some of these things might not sound like they're going to save you all that much by themselves, but if you really make them a habit, practice them consistently, and then pair multiple of these ideas together, they really can result in some significant savings. So I really encourage you to try some of them out, especially ones that maybe you haven't before. See if they can help you to save. Sometimes the most impactful thing we can do isn't just to make one big life-changing decision, but it's to make hundreds and thousands of just small everyday decisions that help us head in the direction of our goals. So just a little encouragement, but now I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the things that you like to do to save money, things that you find make the biggest difference? Be sure to let me know what those things are in the comments below. I love hearing from and learning from all of you. That's everything that I've got for you today. So until next time, friends, thank you so much for watching, for being here. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so that you never miss a new video. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye, friends.